Hello there, Aquarius. Thank you so much for stopping by for your monthly tarot video forecast. This forecast is for the month of February, and we are starting with February the 1st through the 14th, and then we'll come back later and we'll do February 15th through the 28th at the end of this reading. So, Aquarius, glad to see you again. Glad to be working in your energy. Those of you who are cross watchers, who are here to find out about an Aquarius that you care for, you are perfectly welcome to be here, but I do need you to understand that my channel is a little different than some of the others out there, and that energies do not crisscross and go back and forth. What we're looking at is the energy of Aquarius and the energies that are influencing Aquarius. We are not looking at you. So if you want to find a reading that talks about you, you want to check out your sun sign, your rising sign, or your moon sign, okay? Or any combination thereof. Some people do look at 2 or 3 different videos for themselves each month. La da da da. Whatever works for you. Just as long as you know that energies don't go back and forth or crisscross. How do they say that? Energies are not reversible on this site. Okay. Aquarius, let's take a peek at what we have coming up as for your energy. I want to say for your energy, for your environment during this time frame. All of this is about the energy around you and your energy. So energy around your environment during this time frame. So environment is any place where you have energy or effort invested. Usually it's home, sometimes it's work, sometimes it's school. Excuse me, this camera is distracting me because I feel like it's just showing too much wall. There, that feels a little better to me. Sorry about that. So, looking at your energy, I keep saying that. Looking at your environment, I think there's something in your environment that is really sparking your energy into wanting to do something new, wanting to move forward with some type of new project. And I think that you very well could be moving forward with that project, even though you don't know everything there is to know about it yet, Aquarius. I think that you're just kind of jumping in. Feet first and learning as you go, as you hit the ground. So something about your environment inspiring you to some type of new idea that you are just jumping in and just doing and learning basically by the seat of your pants. Also, what we have coming up about your environment is that I think you're doing a lot of looking at your environment and ways to figure out what could you do to actually improve your environment, or maybe I don't necessarily want to say improve, but make your environment more customized to you. Okay? So, I mean, and that would be an improvement for you, but not everybody might view it as an improvement. Anyway, you're looking at how you can make your environment more customized to yourself to work better for you. Next thing that we're looking at, Aquarius, is your subconscious leanings. So it looks like there is something that you want to do or you want to participate in, but you feel like you don't have the knowledge or the skills that you need to actually do that yet. And so in your subconscious mind, you're making plans to get that information, whether it's taking a class or being mentored by somebody. In your subconscious mind, you're figuring out how to get that knowledge, how to get that skill set together so that you can do this thing that you actually want to do. La da 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 da. Next, we're looking at learning style and also communication style as we go through this particular time frame. I do think that you are learning lots and lots and lots of stuff. I think that you're basically on fire with the things that you're learning. So you're picking up information really quickly. I do feel like I kind of have that reference that came up from environment too. There's something that's going on where you're learning by the seat of your pants. But I think if you're learning by the seat of your pants, you're picking that information up fast, fast, fast as you go. All right. What else do we have for learning style? Learning style. There is somebody in your sphere of influence who is trying to influence what you learn or how you learn it showing up here. And I think that they are having an impact. So this could be an employer or somebody like that that has influence over your life already, that is influencing your learning and what you're learning about, when you're learning it, all of that kind of good stuff. Also coming up I do feel like you're making some choices about the things that you learn or the things that you research right now. And I think that you're deciding what it is that you want to prioritize knowing more about. I put those cards down, but I haven't looked at your communication style yet. Oops. Let's look at your communication style during this time frame, since we've got learning style knocked out. I do think that you're communicating in such a way that people are really able to hear and empathize with you and understand you. So that's pretty cool. I'm liking that. This is the kind of communication that, when you talk, people listen. We like that, right? We like it when people hear us when we talk. Also, what do we have coming up? I do feel like there's somebody that you're communicating something with, and it is shocking to them. I think it's shocking to them. I think that you know that it's going to be shocking to them ahead of time, but even you knowing and even you being careful with how you say it does not really kill this shock. So I think that you're communicating something that's going to be shocking to somebody else. And I think that you're kind of getting braced for that, because I think you're expecting a reaction to that communication. And then it does look like there's a lot of different people that you're communicating little tidbits with. And so this may be that you have a social media following and you're communicating tidbits like that. Or this could be an email or newsletter type of thing. But it looks to me like there's just a lot of people that you communicate with, but we just see like little snippets that you're communicating. Maybe it's TikToks. I don't know. But we do see that coming in very active during this time frame. All right, so next thing that we're looking at talks to me, Aquarius, about your work during the first half of February. Work looks to be really stable. You're basically setting the foundation at work, so everything's really stable as far as work. Some of the work that you're doing is sort of behind the scenes. You may be setting things up or putting things in position to launch or to lift off or to take action later on. So I think that for some of you, you're at a job that is very stable and working on this type of project in that way. Or for others of you, you have a job that's very stable and you're also working on something on the side for yourself, just kind of on the down low. I think that whatever it is you're working on isn't necessarily ready for public consumption just yet, but you're putting in those foundational pieces to make sure that it will be. And then the last thing that I have coming up about work is I do feel like there's some kind of confusion about which direction you want to go moving forward with work once we get to the end of this time frame. And that's always, one of those things that it's a great thing to have a reading on, like which direction would work out best, which direction fits me better, which direction is going to be more fulfilling. Those types of questions we can certainly look at in a private reading. Next thing that I'm looking at talks to me about that part of your personality which is being grown or expanded as we go through this particular time frame. I do see that you're spending some time with friends, and as you're doing this, I think you're sort of processing something that's happened that I don't think you necessarily knew what to make of. And by being with friends to process this thing, I think this is adding to your sense of security, where whatever this was that happened may have made you feel a little bit more insecure. Being with friends, talking things over around this situation is helping you to get some of your security back. La, da, 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 da. Next thing that we're looking at, Aquarius, is something that you stand for. Now, this is going to be something that somebody, comes up to you and they want an explanation about something, or they could even be as far as confronting you about this situation. And so you're explaining this or standing up for it or defending it, however this is going to work out, whatever, degree this falls at in your life. So what are you standing for during this time frame? There's somebody that you're attracted to. There's definitely good chemistry there, but you've walked away from that person because it just doesn't make sense to move forward with them. Okay, and then once you've explained this to the other person, I feel like this other person may be the person that you're walking away from because it just doesn't make sense to be with them. But I feel like once you explained it to them, they're giving you some backlash on it. They're basically trying to talk you into reconsidering this. And they are coming at this from a way that comes across as manipulative. That's the word I want to settle on there. I think that they are manipulating some facts and some information as they try to get you to reconsider. And I think that, it's a real challenge for you, because I think that this was a decision that you made, and you sort of set aside your heart to make this decision. And so as this person is talking, I think that it becomes a challenge for you to stick with what you say. But I think that you do, because we end with this person feeling really frustrated with you because of your stand, because of what you do stand for. So, I think, to me, this looks like this is something that just probably you're feeling like it's just not good timing right now. I need to be focusing on other things. And this person is really going more for, but we have such a deep connection. How can you do this type of conversation is what I see happening there. And if it's not about a personal connection, this could even be about a business opportunity where you're just like, you know what, I just don't have time for that. It's an attractive opportunity. I can see why people would want to jump in on it. It's just not for me right now. All right, so next let's look at what's happening during your flex period, Aquarius. Now, your flex period is that time frame where something happens that changes your perspective, or, it changes your perspective, which changes your trajectory, which direction you're going as you move forward. So there's something going on here that has to do with people that you trust a lot. And these are people that you work with, but that you also consider friends. It looks like there's some type of celebration here, and you're learning something from this celebration. You're learning something as you are spending time with these people about facing your own fears and giving them the knockout punch. So, that's kind of a big deal whenever we learn something like that. What else is going on at the same time? Yeah. All right. So, Aquarius, you have somebody who's narcissistic showing up in your sphere of influence. And I feel like this is the person that, is that true? Yeah. I feel like this is the person that you already decided you needed to walk away from because it didn't make sense to have whatever type of relationship with them, whether it was business or personal. And so, your friends, coworkers are supporting you. They're giving you information that's helping you to get rid of your fears. And remember, I said this is a tough decision for you to make. I think that's the fears that we're talking about. Your what if I regret this type of fear. So you are interacting with somebody who does have narcissistic tendencies. This is somebody who doesn't shoot straight. They manipulate the truth. They'll manipulate you and everybody around you if they need to. And I think that this person, because they're feeling challenged by the idea that you're not moving forward with them, starts to be resentful, frustrated, possibly even jealous. Okay? And I think you're going to be seeing that. I don't know that they're necessarily going to be manifesting that per se, but I do feel like you're going to definitely be hitting on that. You're going to be picking that up with your psychic abilities, for sure, with your intuition, with your gut instinct, whatever you want to call it. What else is going on at the same time? You are making some huge, huge changes. And part of you making those huge changes is you're sort of taking a step back from the direction that you were going, and you're thinking about, okay, what are my actual goals, and what can I do to support my goals as I move forward? Very cool, Aquarius. Next thing that I'm looking at talks to me about where we find you at the end of this particular time frame. So right around 13th, 14th, maybe even the 12th. Okay. Someone they're interacting with, or Aquarius. Okay. So Aquarius, we see you in very nurturing, encouraging, uplifting energy. You could be doing a lot of self-care. You could even be caring for others. It looks to me like there's a lot of untapped potential here, which kind of leads me to this idea that there's a lot of self-care going on, and you're finding out about some of your untapped potential as you're doing this. And I think that what the upshot of this is that you're finding all this untapped potential. And Aquarius, I think you're not having the ideal reaction to this. I think what you're saying is, oh my gosh, I'm so mad at myself. I should have been doing this 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 2 months ago, whatever. And you're kind of beating up on yourself about that. And, that's impacting your happiness. You're not feeling very happy with yourself because you weren't doing things. You weren't tapping into this potential before because you didn't realize it was there before. You were distracted. You were tapping into other people and helping them reach their potential. So, advice here is just the same as any other time that we see something that we would rather not see on a tarot table, is that, we get these readings ahead of time so that we can make some changes. We have free will. We can change anything that shows up here. And so if you're not happy with the idea that you haven't tapped into the advice, into this potential before, the advice here is don't be so hard on yourself. You were exactly where you needed to be every day up until today. And today, whatever day today this is, which is going to be towards the middle of February, you're realizing, wait, I've got all this untapped potential. You're finding it exactly at the right time for you. It's okay. So don't beat up on yourself. Just start picking it up and working with it. You're okay. You're okay. All right, so I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to take a little break, and then I'll come back, and the rest of the video will be about February 15th through the 28th. Thank you for being here. See you in a sec. Okay, Aquarius, we're back, and this time we are looking at February the 15th through the 28th, and let's just see what we see. See what we see. Here we go. Alrighty, so Aquarius, let's start off with your environment. Look, I'm calling it the right thing this time. Okay, so for your environment, you may actually be, this may be your work environment that we're talking about. If this is your home environment, it may be that you're actually working from home. I do see that you're keeping everything in balance when it comes to your environment. So that can mean a lot of different things. That can manifest a lot of different ways. If you're working from home, that can mean that you're keeping in balance your time that you're actually working and your time that you're actually spending with the family or in off time, off duty. But if this is at work, this is keeping in balance, everything that needs so that you have the workflow is just going in general very well. But we do have things that are coming into good balance whenever it comes to work. And I really think that you are helping other people. You're giving them a lift up. So you may be orienting new people to the work situation. I just feel like you're sharing some of your wisdom and some of your knowledge with somebody else during this time frame. All right. Looking at your subconscious leanings. So it looks to me like there's a relationship or a set of relationships that have kind of been put to bed as far as you're concerned. And I think that those relationships, I think they were put to bed really suddenly and unexpectedly, kind of out of the blue. I don't think you saw this coming. And I think in your subconscious, you're thinking about, is there any way that I can revive this? Or is there any way that I can revive these? So your subconscious is working on, is this something that is revivable? Is it something that I actually want to give attention to again or not? Now, we're on to the third thing we're looking at. Third thing we're looking at is talking to me about your communication style and also your learning style. So we're going to start with learning style. I do think that you are getting information, quite a bit of information during this time frame, and I feel like you're going to different places to get information. So I think that there's something that you're gathering information on that, the whole big picture isn't just in one place. You're having to really research and gather information from multiple sources to get the big picture. It looks to me like there's some type of information about people in your life or about a person. I feel like for a lot of you, we're talking about parents here, that you're trying to get information about them and they're just not coming up off that information. This could be something like, maybe you're trying to find out, well, do you need anything? Do you need me to take you to the grocery store? Do you need me to do this? What did the doctor say? Things like that, those types of questions. And I think that they're just, avoiding those types of questions with you right now. And what else do we have for learning style? Curiosity. Curiosity plays a big factor in your learning style right now. And I think your curiosity actually enables you to learn something that helps you to create something that is pretty or something that's beautiful. All right, so let's look at communication style. Emotions are playing a big factor in communication style, and I think that a lot of these emotions, as you're communicating, have to do with the topic of security. What feels safe? What feels comfortable? What feels secure to you? And this can be financially, but I will say for more of you, I feel like this has to do with relationships, whether it's family relationships or your significant other relationship. But definitely, this feels to me much more like relationship type security rather than financial type security that's being talked about here. And I think that there is some confusion about that right now that sort of needs to be cleared up. And I think that's why you're talking about it. All right, next thing that I'm looking at talks to me about work for you Aquarians during this time frame. I feel like you have work that makes you feel very fulfilled and happy, but somebody is kind of taking the joy out of that. It looks like you're not feeling like you have a lot of energy to move towards it and towards this happiness and this fulfillment. And I think the reason is because you've got somebody who is, I want to say the word snarky, but that feels light for what this energy is. This is somebody who is sarcastic and cutting. And for some of you, I feel like this is, I really love what I do for a living, but I can't go do it because I'm in lockdown because of this political person that stands between me and doing my work that I love to do. For others of you, though, this is a person that is in your sphere of influence that is constantly kind of just sniping at you with their words that has you feeling like you don't want to do that thing that makes you feel fulfilled, right? So you want to be careful of that. You want to pay attention to, number one, you want to pay attention to what people are saying to you and how they're acting because you want to be aware of people's motivations, and nothing gives that away more than what they say and how they're acting. But the other reason you want to pay attention to it is we want to be really careful as individuals about what type of information we allow through our filter and we allow to take in and come in and impact our subconscious. Because, if somebody doesn't believe in us or somebody is cutting us down, then if we take that into our subconscious, we're going to manifest what that person is believing about us. Not cool at all. But if we've got somebody around us that believes in us, maybe even more than we do, that's the type of messaging we want to give to our subconscious. That's the type of thoughts that we want to pay attention to and spend more time on. So you just want to be aware of how somebody is talking to you, how they're making you feel, so that you can figure out, how much time do I really want to spend talking with this person? Just as a matter of you being able to accomplish what you want to do or not. Okay? Next thing that we're looking at, Aquarians. Next thing that we're looking at. So it does look to me like you've entered into some sort of new territory, and this is actually the part of your personality which is being grown or expanded right now. Sorry. So you've entered into some kind of new territory where you really didn't have the instructions. This was, you just move in and you're just feeling it out. You're kind of learning by the seat of your pants. And I think what's going on is you're starting to realize that you're in a little bit over your head, and so you're backing out of that, sort of regrouping and getting ready to come back at it once you've got more information. But for right now, I just see you backing out of it during this time frame because you're feeling really insecure about the amount of information that you don't have moving in. And I think that, you're just taking time to find more information. I don't think you've given up on this thing. I just think that you feel like it would be better if you went back later to work on it. And I think that you have somebody who has already crossed over who had some type of leadership position in your life, whether they were father, mentor, professor, big brother, uncle, whatever, probably a male. But I think for a lot of you, this is going to be a female. So I'm not even going to say for most of you, I think it's a 60-40 split actually. But this is somebody who crossed over who had influence over you. And I think that this person is sort of nudging you. They're trying to give you messages. I don't know if you're hearing them or not. Different ones of you will and some of you won't, but they're trying to nudge you about, how to lose those insecurities, what it is that you need to learn so that you can get back in there. Get back in there. All right, Aquarius, next thing that we're going to look at talks to me about that thing that you stand for. We already talked about what that was in the last segment, so you can go back if you want to hear that. And then we'll look at how this person sees you, who you've had this conversation with. So what is it that you're standing for? So basically what I'm seeing here, Aquarius, is that you have your own intuitive hits that you get. They may be a little bit different than some of the other people's around you, is what I'm picking up on. But definitely they're still intuitive hits. And it makes you happy. I think that you're happy that you have those that come in, and you know that they always point you in the right direction. And so after you've stood up for this situation and talked about it to somebody, how they see you is they see you as somebody who is, first of all, not being very responsible. And they see you as somebody who is, they could see you literally as being a bad mother, although that is probably not going to be literal for most of you. But they see you as somebody who they feel like you inflict hurt on people in your sphere of influence. And to them, it feels like that they're seeing a new side of you that they never saw before. And their opinion of you is really dropping down whenever you explain to them that following your intuition makes you happy and seems to lead you the right way. So, what were we talking about earlier about having people around you, surrounding yourself with people who believe in you? This person probably does not fit that bill. Just saying. Just saying. All right, let's look at your flex time, Aquarius. And this is going to be the time where you have a change of perspective, which sort of changes your trajectory. So it looks like you're realizing that you have been really dedicated to some type of idea or process that you thought was wonderful and ideal, and now you're realizing, whoa, I was really holding on to that, and it's less than ideal, and I can tell that it's less than ideal by looking at the results that I'm getting from it. So this is a new realization that's coming into you. I think that before this, you probably would have sworn by this situation or this process. So now you're realizing, wow, what I've been loyal to is not really doing me the way I want it to. So what else is going on? You are making a decision here, definitely, and you're trying to make it a very clear-cut decision, not involving emotions, but just involving logic. And I think that decision has to do with this idea of you want better things in your life. You know that getting better things in your life is not going to be as easy as you might have hoped or as easy as people might say to you, but you are working on how do I get from here to there? How do I get those better things in my life? Also, at the same time, it looks to me like there's something here about the idea of things that make you feel stable and secure is sort of being slipped on its head. There's somebody that you are trying to talk to about this whole thing, this whole issue of now all of a sudden, out of the blue, I think, you don't feel so secure. You're trying to talk to somebody, and I think you're waiting and waiting and waiting for a response back. And I think eventually you get a response, but I think that the waiting time is pretty frustrating. But once you do, I think that you're going to be starting something new. You're going to be pivoting. You're going to be going in a different direction than what you have been going. Now, looking at where you are at the end of the month, Aquarius, I do see you trying to make a decision about whether somebody in your sphere of influence was trying to do good and just kind of got off track, or if they had bad intentions to start with, and now they're just trying to make it look like they didn't. So you're sorting all of that out right now. And it looks to me like this has sort of slowed things down for you as far as the changes that you're making right now. This has slowed those changes down because it's like you have to pause and sort this all out before you can move forward, or at least you feel like you do. The thing is, you're trying to act like it's not really bothering you when inside it absolutely is. Okay? So why do we get readings ahead of time? Because we have free will and because we can change the outcomes. Just because these cards are on the table doesn't mean they have to be true. You guys can change things with your own free will. All right? So having said all that, thank you very much for being here. I do appreciate you guys spending some of your precious time with me today. Thank you also for the thumbs ups and for sharing this video around. And of course, thank you for getting private sessions, either readings or Reiki sessions. And also, just thank you for being here. I really appreciate you all. And it is because of all of you that I get to do what I love to do for my living. Thank you so much. Peace out, everybody.